God is good, I'm telling you. Mel is amazing as well. Mel just saved me a lot of money actually. At least a bill of $50. If for a nice one, you're talking 250, 300. But I like older equipment for a reason. The older equipment's better. Um, Also, it's more simple, and I don't need all the extra digital stuff. I want the analog stuff. And he provided me with something that I really needed for this car. An actual CB radio. So, and it's a fuzz buster, which it does CB and it does PA. So I'm super excited. I can get a loudspeaker now and put it underneath my hood in the front bumper, and I can scream at people now. One, I'm excited for that. Two, I can pick up anywhere. I can talk to all the truckers, all that stuff. And it has a magnetic antenna. And it's chrome and it's strong. I'm gonna clean it up, try to get it nice. We're gonna be modifying this car, in which it's probably gonna be getting tucked through here, down here somewhere, and then down. I don't really want a bunch of stupid ass antennas on the car to make the car ugly, so I might be modifying that antenna. I might be making some type of almost like an antenna for all the devices. I'm thinking about making a spiral or some type of anything that can help me get better reception, and on maybe the roof of the headliner, like up here, inside the car. I really don't want a bunch of antennas hanging outside of the car, but I might have to. I know there's going to be a roof rack. I'm going to have a roof rack. Eventually, this is the plan. So, on one side, I'm going to have a bike for myself, all right? Possibly two for the passenger, Margarita, Mago. It's very possible she might be in this car with me, which is going to be packed. It's going to be cramped, but it's worth it. Because I'm going to be this. You'll see, it's going to be cool. But I'm going to have two bikes, and it's really just going to be one bike. And I'm going to get one of those enclosures, a smaller one, and maybe a thinner one, so I can put stuff in there, like my backpacks and equipment and stuff, and I can actually lock it down. Make sure it's waterproof. I'm going to be reinforcing the ceiling as well. This is why I wanted to talk to that person at Detroit Drift Works, Detroit Drifting Company. This side is going to have either the bike, I don't know what side the bike's going to be on, or the container. It doesn't really matter, but I might have like the container in the middle and then just have enough for each bike on the side. And then on top of the container, on top of the container, put like the solar panel, along with like the antennas. I was thinking maybe that box can house a lot of the equipment as well, the antenna, instead of having all the equipment inside the car. There's so many different ideas, and the reason why I was thinking about doing that as well, having a lot of the equipment and stuff like that up there, the light equipment, is it saves a lot of space, and I don't have to modify the car and ruin the car, cutting holes and all this other stuff. I can basically plan everything in that box, make like a harness that runs to the box and then down to the car, and through that tailgate. And I can modify that tailgate, and the tailgate's getting rusty anyway, so I gotta glue it. I just broke it today, which I'm thankful I did break it, because now I can glue it with Gorilla Glue and reinforce it. I'm gonna tape it down shortly, so it doesn't break again. I know not to. What's funny is I didn't break it actually pulling up on it. What happened is I closed the deck lid, the deck lid, tailgate, whatever you want to call it, hatch, boot. I closed it, and it didn't close all the way, and what I did is I actually pushed down on it to try to get it to click, and I pushed down and it went snap. So that goes to show you that video with that I watched with that dude with that dude in blue. He said that the car is cheaply made, like the plastics rattle and stuff. He isn't lying. They do rattle. They rattle a lot, and it doesn't help. Like, so when about 2 weeks ago, I had some gentlemen. I was at Cottage and Pizza. I mentioned that then the guy that I mentioned in a video earlier today, he knew somebody that had all the equipment to plug in the car, which is sort of the same equipment I'll be purchasing myself, which he told me there was no codes, which surprised me, which he never even turned on the car, which surprised, well, he turned the car, but he didn't start it or anything like that. He didn't do anything. And I told him that it's vibrating really, really bad. You know, that's why I wanted to check it, which what it was the cylinder wasn't firing. The cylinder was filling up with fuel. But you try to tell me that my car was vibrating because I had a bad motor mount. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's true. That's why a car would shake, but that's not the reason why the car shakes and vibrates. Not why my plastics vibrate. The reason why everything vibrates so much is one is because it's a Ford Focus. The plastics are cheaply made. Even though the SVT Focus, he was right, it is better made. I've sat in the other ones, they're bad. But this motor mount, I got a hardened motor mount with the actual rubber bushing. That's an aftermarket motor mount. That motor mount was made for racing. There's a reason why this car shakes and vibrates. The person got tired of replacing the stock motor mount, so they paid whatever. Listen, that's a good motor mount. Whoever made that motor mount, that's a good company. It's solid, and it's aluminum, but it's got a good fucking bushing around it. Good, really good, solid piece of rubber. It's good, solid mount, and it vibrates the shit out of the car, but you get used to it. And I like it because you get the feel. You can feel the motor through the chassis in the car. You can feel it in the steering wheel. You can feel it in the pedal. You can feel it in the shifter and stuff. So I know when to shift. I know when the car is being driven too hard or not. And also I can feel the road. The road talks to me. I have feedback. So I know, like, if the car's about to jerk to the wheel's gonna jerk because there's a dip in the road, I feel it as it's happening. I can respond to it quickly. A lot of cars I've driven that have electrical steering racks, you don't feel it. It takes away from it, and it ruins the fun of the vehicle, and it also ruins the performance part of it, because you don't have that input, so there's no way for you to have any good output if there's nothing giving you any information, feeding you information correctly. Which that's why I really, really love this car, because though it's front-wheel drive, it's not all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive, the weight of the motor is on the tires, so I'm getting good traction, and it's pulling, so it's fine. And then the back wishbone suspension, that wishbone style F1 racing suspension that they designed it, basically for racing. This car handles phenomenal, man. I can't tell you how impressed I am with how this car, wherever you turn that wheel, this car, it darts into it. It cuts right into it. It points to wherever you're going. And when you give it gas too, it pulls. So like when you're sliding or whatever and stuff, you turn the wheel left, right, whatever, you give it gas. So actually it pulls, it pulls whichever way you have the steering input. And all you have to do is give it gas, and the car will track towards, wherever way you're steering. That's what makes it so nice about front wheel drive, actually. That's what makes it good in the snow, especially for beginners. I recommend this car for first time drivers for sure. It's a real good car to learn in, and you actually, surprisingly, the way the front slopes down, usually small cars like Honda Civics and stuff, Margarita couldn't drive that car at all because you can't see anything. The way you sit low, the dash is high and stuff. Though it's a comfortable car for someone like me that has experience, but for someone like her that doesn't have experience, it was real shit. But this car is different. Right away I noticed the way it slopes down and how the low profile dash and the headroom and the way the seat sits, you actually sit up like you're in a truck. It's odd. And it helps with view, it helps with seeing. And then with the side windows and stuff, it's amazing. You can see it everywhere. You don't really have any blind spots with this car very much. And then what impressed me too was, even though it had manual seats and stuff, it has